Hi. Do you hate the prejudice? Do you think that prejudiced people, when they have something bad happen to them, get what they deserve? I mean, after all, you're a better person than they are, right? Because you're not prejudiced. Well, let me explain to you how you are prejudiced. And that very way of thinking makes you exactly that. As always, everyone and everything here, yes and nothing and no one. I am your host, Ed Anonymous, and now explaining how those who do not see themselves as prejudiced are in fact prejudiced, especially in regards to harboring high or extreme levels or amounts of disdain, dislike, and or hatred for another for being said prejudice. Here's how that works. So, I'll explain it by explaining a prejudiced person. You ever notice how what really at its core what a prejudiced person is and the way they conduct themselves is you notice they think that they're better or somehow more than other people and their way of being simply for their own personal way of being. Notice how they have a problem with other people's ways of being and their choices and the way they choose to be. And usually a prejudiced person thinks that they're better because of what they do or do not do compared to another person and or group or what have you. Well, it's right there. If you are a person who thinks yourself better than a prejudiced person or racist person or whatever because of how you choose to conduct yourself and or what you do and don't do, your way of being, you see yourself as superior to another individual because of your way of being and them as lesser because of their way of being. You think that your way is right and their way is wrong, which would be not very understanding or very compassionate. The goal there would be to try and understand and see from their perspective how their perspective could be valid and how their perspective got shaped and cultivated that way in the first place. But yeah, uh, it's why it's one of the funny things because you got all these people who don't realize, and I was one of them. You know, you see someone who say they're like I don't know, some kind of bigot or something, and you're like, you racist piece of shit. I, I hope you get thrown in jail and you get gang raped. At least I'm not evil like you. I don't go around hating people for the color of their skin or the way they choose to be. I'm better than that. I'm better than you and the way you're choosing to be. That's that's how it works. It's always going to work this way. Um, you can't hate a part of any you can't hate anything without hating yourself. It all stems with self. So that judgment it's why it's funny because you know people want to see themselves as more or better and the only way that you can want to see yourself as more than or better than someone or something else is you already have to harbor the belief that you are somehow inherently less than or worse in some way. Otherwise, there would be nothing to do and nothing to strive for, nothing to achieve. You would be content with yourself as you are presently. Uh, you'd have a nice, solid foundation, and what others do and don't do wouldn't affect you in the slightest, you would be able to just observe their way of being and not give two shits, or a half a shit, or negative two shits. I don't know, but you wouldn't give it. You wouldn't lose it either. But yeah, uh, wanted this one to be a little bit more of a quick one. Um, yeah, so, next time you see someone who's, you know, going off on someone for being a prejudiced person and shaming them or reprimanding them somehow in some way, telling that person that they don't have a right to be the way that they choose to be, and that somehow their way of being is wrong and not as good as this person who's doing that way of being, well, you can go ahead and step in and remind that person that they're just as prejudiced as the person that they're accusing of being prejudiced. They're prejudiced against the prejudice. That's the line that I thought I would have said a lot sooner. But yeah, so that's kind of how that works, we got a planet full of people that are prejudiced against prejudiced people. Like, oh, I love everyone except you. If you got a problem, you're hating people because of this, that, and the other. You don't like gays, well, then you're not welcome here. You see what I'm saying? Like, you're just mirroring back the hatred without being aware of it. Though, thankfully, I exist and I'm here to help people be aware of it. That's going to be it for now. I hope that made sense. If I don't like this video, I'll take it down and I'll try another crack at it when I'm like actually awake. Alright. Bye, all you prejudiced people that aren't prejudiced.